5 anti-ULEZ protesters were arrested on Saturday during a protest near London Mayor Sadiq Khan's house. Police arrested the 5 protesters after the crowd was asked to disperse and a smoke flare was set off by an unknown person. NTD's Malcolm Hudson was there.
This anti-ULEZ protest was held somewhere close to Mayor of London Sadiq Khan's house in Streatham and ended with 5 arrests. It was much the same as the previous protests held across London. They called to get Khan out and end London's ultra-low emission zone that charges drivers £12.50 per day if they drive an older vehicle.
Believe it or not, my car's compliant. But the reason I've been doing this is because I care. We want to be left alone to get on with our jobs, be able to do our jobs, be able to look after our families, visit our families.
But the proximity to the mayor's home brought a new dimension to the day's events. A large group of police arrived shortly after the protests began at midday on Saturday. They told protesters to disperse under a Section 42 order. This relates to the presence of people at or near a residence where there are reasonable grounds to believe it amounts to harassment. One of the protest organisers conceded to move on.
You may just have to go down.
I'm not here to try and fight with you. I don't want to fight with you. That's not what we're about. And I don't want it to be bad press. So I need to pass that message on. You can give me a few minutes to do that.
Absolutely, I'll give you those minutes.
Thank you very much.
He then passed the message on to everyone else.
We are here for peaceful protest. We're here to make a point. Hopefully we've made that point today. It's a little bit disappointing that we've been told to move on, but it is what it is. I don't want to get loads of people arrested. I don't want to bring our group into disrepute. We are already taking the banners down, etc., etc.
Just after this, a smoke flare was set off across the road and away from the main body of protesters. Police promptly put the smoke flare out with an extinguisher. Protesters say it was not one of them. While the protesters packed up, police began to form a line. Police said one person was arrested for obstructing police and 4 people were arrested under Section 42. Here are the events. Police ask a protester to walk across the road, where they then tell him he is being arrested. The second arrest followed shortly afterwards. And then the final 3 in a chaotic scene. One lady was on the floor getting out of her dinosaur suit. One man was holding a placard and had backed away. And the man dressed in purple was the 5th to be arrested. He later said he was trying to help the lady up and could be seen to have difficulty walking. Commander Colin Wingrove, who was overseeing policing across London over the weekend, said, "There are plenty of appropriate places to protest in London. Anyone who chooses to target a private home or the area nearby can expect to be dealt with by officers." The rest of the protesters left shortly afterwards, heading to Charing Cross Police Station for a second protest calling for the release of their friends. The 5 were released later that night on bail with no charges pending further inquiries. Malcolm Hudson, NTD News, London.
The 5 anti-ULEZ protesters were released on bail with no charges pending further inquiries. We have more now from Malcolm Hudson, who spoke to them at Charing Cross Police Station after their release on Saturday night.
With me here are 5 anti-ULEZ protesters who were arrested earlier today for protesting in Streatham near Sadiq Khan's house. But what they've told me is that they haven't actually been charged with anything. They've been held here since about 2-3 o'clock. They were from 1:30 they were arrested in Streatham. They were driven here to Charing Cross and they've been held up until about 10 o'clock at night.
They come to me, all I was doing was filming. This copper came towards me and said, "Can you come across the road?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're going to be arrested." And I'm saying, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden, poof, and they jumped on top of me. I'm saying, I'm appalled that this is our police service now. All this orchestrated by the coward that we've got for mayor.
They grabbed a few people to make an example.
Yeah.
They'd done it away from the crowd, the main crowd.
They actually approached Nick on his own on the pavement.
Yeah.
Called him over to where all the other police officers were to then say, we're arresting you.
Nobody was shouting, nobody was abusive, nobody was swearing.
I was with Tracy and the other lady, I can't remember her name, and our cars were behind the police line. So we told them, and eventually they said, all right, stay there. When the police line moves forward, you can go down and get your cars. So we put all our stuff up against a post, and I sat on the ground to take off my dinosaur outfit because I was tripping over the tail, and I had my boots off and putting them back on again. And the policeman said, I've got 3 seconds to get up and move. I can't get off a chair in 3 seconds, so they arrested me.
I am absolutely disgusted with the way the police have operated today. They do not take care of disabled people at all. I grabbed hold of a railing to prevent me falling. I had an officer come along and bend my thumb backwards to release the grip. Then had another officer with nails going into my hand and has lifted all the skin. My hand was pouring with blood whilst I'm being taken away.
We weren't doing anything wrong, we were doing a peaceful protest, and then this one copper who seemed to, his eyes, you know, it was like an animal, and he just went for me, and that was it, and he had me shutting my arm up my back.
Our protests are always peaceful, they're family friendly, we weren't intimidating anybody, we were complying with the request to take down and disperse, and they just got mob-handed and heavy-handed, started grabbing people randomly for no reason whatsoever. If they'd have just allowed us to complete that dispersal, we would have been done in 5 minutes, we would have been out the way, and there wouldn't have been a problem.
Malcolm Hudson, NTD News, London.